So today's topic is, can your clients lose weight without exercise? Which is an interesting one. James, apparently you said to me before we started recording, you've been trying to disprove this theory for a number of years, up until you hit your mid-30s maybe.
Yep, anecdotally, absolutely. I was trying like mad because it was just, I'd never had to worry about my weight in my 20s. You never have to think about it.
Who does?
It was just one of those things. And then it's like, no, you don't need to worry about it. And suddenly your 20s end, you go into your 30s and you start traveling, work happens, you start eating the same, you train slightly less. And suddenly, as the photo from 2016 shows, you become quite fat. And like that was me. I was like, wow.
Yeah, you weren't looking in your best shape there, were you?
I was looking like on death's door. That's what I literally looked at. I'll post in the show notes actually so people can see what I looked like at the end of 2016. But no, anecdotally, I always knew that exercise and diet intervention is important. But I was trying to disprove it just for my own personal benefits and keep on eating as many donuts as I wanted to without putting on weight. But sadly, that's not the case, is it?
Well, sadly, no, it's not the case. Unfortunately, the old adage is true that you can't outrun a bad diet, or abs are made in the kitchen. And I'm afraid it is true. It's as simple as that. What we aren't saying is that exercise isn't good. We're not saying don't exercise because you won't lose weight. Exercise is very good for you. However, in terms of weight loss, weight management, fat loss, it's not particularly good. There are far more efficient and better ways, which in the end comes down to diet. Have you got the PN article open where it talks about the Texas study? Talk them through the Texas study a little bit.
Yeah, so I think this was basically what we established all our results on now, and in terms of our training. So this was a study done by John Berardi. It's called the Texas study. You can find it on precisionnutrition.com if you want to learn more about it. And they did a 12-week study where essentially they had two cohorts, two groups. One group both groups had no dietary intervention. So what they did was they did all the tests before with each of the groups, and they tested them all afterwards. So one group did no exercise or dietary intervention, and one group just did exercise for 3 to 4 times a week. There we go. So they had extra little bit of exercise here. So doing exercise but no dietary intervention. At the end of the 12 weeks, guess what happened? The results were exactly the same. And it was something that we took away from that being, wow, that's really important, because think of how many people...
The training group did slightly better, but there was barely any significant statistical difference, was there?
Yeah.
But again, we're not saying they didn't get health benefits from it. I'm sure they did. We're talking from a purely weight loss perspective here.
Yeah, and then, so we think of this in perspective of the clients who've slogged their guts out for 12 weeks and they don't see any visible results. It's disheartening, It's demotivating, it's probably knock them back a few weeks, if not forever. Who knows what's going to happen? But we've got to take this into consideration. So what we can take from that study is that we can't discount nutritional intervention at any time. It has to be part of a long-term plan if you want to lose weight. Calories in, calories out, energy balance. We've got to look at those things in accordance. So if you want to maximize your 12-week fat loss results, you've got to have people who are exercising plus following a nutritional program of some sorts to make sure you get the results. So they don't feel disheartened. They don't feel like they're not putting anything in, for no reason whatsoever at all. It's so important. So you come back to the question, can your clients lose weight without exercise? Yes, if they follow a nutritional program where they're in an energy deficit. That's the main thing. However, you've got to exercise to maintain lean muscle mass to help keep the weight off afterwards.
Yeah, exactly. So let's, talk about the balance between exercise versus diet. So obviously we've established the fact that if you want to lose weight, it's mainly down to diet. But like I said at the start of the podcast, we're not saying don't exercise, because there are many, many great benefits, right?
Yeah, loads of benefits, and that's the whole purpose of this now. So I would say to anybody here now, like thinking that, like I did, that they can get clients results without dietary intervention, you're just kidding yourself. And if it does happen, people may be in a calorie deficit without you realizing it, and they may be, one of these high metabolizers of food. You never know. Who knows what could happen? Which is true. Some people just lose weight super easy, right? So you're going to bear that in mind. So you've got to think of interventions, but it's the hardest part. Nutrition is the hardest part to address when it comes to exercise program design.
Exactly. Well, as we've said, several things not to talk about at the dinner table. Nutrition being one of them. Politics and kettlebells. What are the other ones? Guns, if you're in America,
Guns,
maybe.
religion, all sorts.
Religion.
Everything.
But essentially, as we say, it comes down to calories in, calories out. Now, we are advocates of calorie counting, aren't we?
Mm-hmm.
Within the Strength Matters fat loss system, but it's not for everyone. If you are a data geek, it's a good way to go, but it can be quite a psychological burden for some people. So there are PN are big promoters of habits, daily habits, and obviously for us, even before you even go down the calorie counting route, you've got to have the basics in place. WWS, right?
Yep. Walk, water, sleep, baby. That's it. And for us, like I said, if we don't go into a nutritional program until they nail that. If they're not walking 7,000 steps a day, drinking 7 glasses of water and sleeping 7 hours a night on average, then we're not going to touch a nutritional program because they haven't got the basics. There's always going to be, 2 hands strapped behind their back essentially as they're trying to approach this. So it's the foundational bits in place here. Now for us at the moment, walking is a big factor in increasing the walking, including wearing weighted walks. So if you haven't listened to those podcasts around appetite control, I think is the best way to put it, because that's what I'm following and playing at the moment. Is that the gravitastat and weighted vests and weighted walks is a huge component of this. So bear that in mind.
Obviously, if you're sitting there thinking, what on earth is gravitastat? We can't go into it now on this podcast. We haven't got time, but go back and listen to 2 previous podcasts we've done on it. But essentially, upping your NEAT and getting more steps in and getting more weighted steps in, whether that's with a weight vest or rucking, whatever, is hugely helpful for weight loss. So we highly recommend it. James, anything you want to sum up with before we sign off today?
No, you can't. The clients can't lose weight without exercising. Oh, no, they can. Sorry, I apologise. I got it wrong. Yes, they can lose weight without exercising by a good dietary intervention. However, to maximise results and preserve that weight staying off long term, they need to combine it with exercise. However, how you approach it is the tough bit. So hopefully in the next few episodes or in the future, we'll address some of our nutritional guidance and stuff that we apply with our clients day in, day out.
We will indeed. That is it for today. Please don't forget to rate, review and subscribe. And if you want to find out more about our system of training, go to strengthmatters.com/system.